Well, first, I'm defining complex fractions for you. Just worry about fraction in the numerator and denominator. To simplify a complex fraction means to rewrite as a single fraction with no fractions in the numerator or denominator. So we're working it all out. We're simplifying just like we have been this whole time. So step one is to create a single fraction in the numerator and denominator. Step two is to set up as a division problem, then multiply by the reciprocal. Step three is to simplify, and of course we factor first if possible. If you look at these first ones, they're not too bad. We just have a over 2 over a squared divided by 4. So all we're going to do is rewrite it as a multiplication problem. So you leave the numerator the same. So we have a over 2. And what am I multiplying by? Very good, you're just flipping it. So this should feel exactly like what we did in the last couple sections. What's that?
So it's just written differently?
Yeah. Yep, and then we'll be putting more pieces together, which will create more steps. Alright, so now that we have it multiplied by the reciprocal, now we're going to reduce. So how would I reduce this fraction? Or if it helps, you can write it together. You have 4a over 2a squared when you put it together. Does that help?
2 over a squared.
Very good.
A over a squared.
You're so close. So 4 over 2
over
gives you 2. Then what happens to a over a squared?
Is a.
And that goes on the bottom. Okay, so this right here shows you the simplified version of what we're doing. So you just had fractions that were already reduced in and of themselves, and then we put it together and reduce. Okay, you ready for number 2? All right, let's first rewrite it. So we have 6 over xy, we leave the same. What am I multiplying by?
8x over 1.
Perfect. And now we can multiply it together. So 6 times 8, what would that give us? So we still have the x cubed. And then in the bottom, we have xy times 3y. So what would I get?
3xy.
Perfect. Once you get it multiplied together, then we're going to reduce. What is 48 divided by 3?
16.
Perfect. 16 goes in the top. We have x cubed over x. So what does that do? The top, and then now you'll see they'll get a little bit more involved. I like to factor as I go if that's not going to mess anybody up. But you see right here we have 8p minus 2. That jumps out at me that I can factor that. So I'm going to go ahead and factor as I go. Okay.
2 out would be 2p minus 4.
Yep, so we have 18p in the top. We take a 2 out. What did you say?
It'd be p, or it'd be 4p minus 1.
There we go. Okay, so all I did was I rewrote it, I factored it as I went. What am I multiplying it by? 4p minus 1 over 4p squared.
Or you can take out the 4p minus 1.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out. If you want, we could go ahead and keep doing that if that doesn't mess anybody up. Or you can write 18p is what's left in the top. 2 times 4 gives us 8p squared. So just multiply the top and the bottom together. 18 over 8, what will that reduce to? 9 over 4, good. 9 fourths, and then p over p squared. Very good, p in the bottom. 9 over 4p. How about one feel? Good? Everybody doing okay so far? Alright, let's look at number 4 now. We have k minus 1 over k divided by k squared minus 1 over k squared.
So you can take out the k squared and then the k minus 1, right? Or
Not yet. We can't take them out because of that minus in there.
The difference is squared for the k squared minus 1.
You can absolutely. So this one we can't do anything to. So I'm just going to rewrite k minus 1 over k. And then we can go ahead and factor that k squared minus 1, but where does it go when I multiply we're gonna have k squared on the top. K plus 1, k minus
Why
1.
just happened to the minus one?
We did difference of squares. Which minus 1 are you talking about? This one?
Yeah, yeah.
So this came down here is difference of squares.
Why did it go down there and didn't stay on top?
Because we had to multiply by the reciprocal. Division and multiply by reciprocal. Alright, now what can you see that can be canceled out?
K minus 1.
Very good. See anything else that's simple to? Yeah, so this k squared over k is going to become just k in the top. And in the bottom we get k plus 1.
So you subtracted that k with that k minus, or k two. That's what you have to get on top, just k.
Yes, the k squared over k, you do 2 minus 1 to get 1 left in the top.
Okay.
Everybody good with that? It's about to get a little bit more complicated. I'm not going to tell you now, but just one minute.
The only one that sticks out to me, the why can't you simplify it?
K over k plus 1 because of that plus. Because it could be written, don't write this down. What I'm about to show you, do not write down because it's not how we actually do it. But you would, to simplify, you could do k over k plus k over 1 like that, but then it's 1 plus k over k. And it just
This is weird.
It is weird, and that's why we don't do it.
I feel like the only one that sticks out to me that's gonna be complicated is 8.
8 does look a little bit more complicated. We'll build up that. I don't want to jump to that one quite yet. But I Sorry, can you say that again? It would be the same thing as that 1. If you had, don't write this down. Please don't write this down. If you had something like 3k over 6k plus 9, that's supposed to be a k, not a 2. I have no idea where the 2 came from. 6k plus 9. That could be simplified, because I can take a 3 out of all those. And then you would get k over 2k plus 3. So in that case, you could.
So is this one of those things that, like, if there's a variable in it, except for, like, obviously number 1, is it, you cannot simplify it any further if you have a variable on top.
Unless it's like what I just showed purple, yeah. Yep, that's true. Alright, number 5. We have 7c plus 35 divided by c. Then we're dividing that by c plus 5 over c squared. So what jumps out at you right away? Yeah, what do we take out of that? 7. And what are we left with? C plus 5. Good. We still have it over c. I'm going to run out of room. One second. I'm going to write this down here. Alright, then what do we multiply by?
C squared over 6 plus 5.
You can, already cross out that c plus 5.
Yep, you can. I'm going to write everything out just because it's so easy to get it lost, but if you have a different way of doing it, that's fine. Alright, so now what's left in the top?
C squared over C.
7.
Oh, wait.
So actually, we could have gone ahead and handled the C's. Did it differently time. So what does that become?
7c.
Not a lot of them. These cancel out. You should see where we got. Get 7C. That one didn't feel too bad. Now you'll see a number 6. Now we have things that we're going to factor. We're just building as we go. So looking at number 6, we have b plus 2 divided by b squared plus 6b plus 8. All divided by 1 over b squared minus b minus 20. So as we're rewriting this, I would factor those trinomials. So the b plus 2 stays the same. How do I factor b squared plus 6b plus 8?
Maybe b plus 4 plus 2.
b plus 4 and then
B plus 2.
we're going to multiply that. Times, well, then what do I multiply by?
Minus 5b plus 1.
You give a pause. Actually, finish that one on your own, and I will be right with you. It's just over 1, so you can certainly write it. B plus 2's cancel out, and B plus 4's cancel out. And Cameron was right, you're just left with B minus 5. You wrote it over 1, that's fine. I wouldn't take off 4, but it certainly wouldn't be needed. Everybody good with 6?
Yeah.
Yes, Connor?
What's the part over there that's like cut off?
B plus 4. Let me do this one that I want. Alright, so we have 15 minus 15r divided by 15r squared. And then that's divided by 12r minus 12.
So if you divide that 15r squared with the 15r and get 1r, so it'd be 15 minus 1r.
So I get 15 out of everything.
Yeah, just take
In the top, I mean.
Yeah, so it would just be like 1 minus 1r,
1 minus r, good. And then what would be on the bottom?
just r.
R squared.
Oh, r squared.
Yep, we can absolutely do that. And that simplifies it quite a bit. Alright, now what about the bottom? What happens to the 12r minus 12?
Cancels out or subtract it or something. You can get
Multiply by. So this is understood as over 1.
oh,
So what do I multiply by? Very reciprocal, right? So when I multiply, I have 1 in the top. Let's go factor 12r minus 12. What would 12r minus 12 factor to? 12 and then r minus 1.
What's that? 1 minus r.
Very good. So we have 1 minus r minus 1. Those cancel out to negative 1. And then we still have the bottom 12r squared.
15 though.
We took 15 out of each of these.
Then would 15 be out to the side?
So if you factored it out, you could do it that way, but they're going to cancel out.
Oh, okay.
So what happened to that positive one on top? Since we got a negative 1.
It got absorbed into the negative 1. So we did
Oh.
negative 1 times 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is that our answer?
That's our answer.
Okay.
Alright, how are you guys doing so far?
Is that right?
You guys want to try number 8? On your own?
Yeah.
Sure. Alright, let me do this one, Andy, and then I'm ready. Alright,